Hello everyone, it's Professor Albert Nigrin here. I'm the Executive Director and the Curator of the New Jersey Film Festival, and we're celebrating our 40th anniversary. Yes, I've been running this program since 1982, and we're back with the second part of our anniversary celebration with the Spring 2022 New Jersey Film Festival. We'll be showing over 40 films between January 28th and February 20th on select Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll be screening everything remotely, so films can be viewed online. You can also see a number of the screenings live, starting at 7 p.m. So you can see the films during the day on your small screen and then come and check them out on the live on the big screen with a lot of the filmmakers present. But today we have a very special guest, and she's the maker of a film called mise, abyme, which means put in relief.
Yeah, I think there's not one hugely agreed upon translation, which is why I just kept the original language. But yes, roughly speaking.
And Charly Santagado. Her film is going to be part of a series of shorts that'll be screened on the very first program. So it's opening night, and they'll be taking place at Rutgers University, Voorhees Hall, room 105 on the College Avenue campus at 71 Hamilton Street, which is a block away from the New Brunswick train station. So come and join us. But I wanted to talk to you about your film. You're a dancer.
Yes.
You're also a very talented gymnast.
It's in my history now, but
oh
yes,
my gosh. But you're a Rutgers grad
background.
too, so there's a Rutgers connection as well.
Yes.
But how did you end up wanting to make this film? I mean,
so I can tell the whole honest story of what happened here, which is a little bit maybe not what would be expected, but I was applying for an MA in choreography, and there was a very elaborate audition process during COVID that was all done remotely. And we had a task, which was to take an object and talk about that object for 5 minutes. And I had some random object pick that I don't remember anymore, and then I freaked out like right before, and I was like, no, I have to do something more intellectual. So I chose that painting, Las Meninas, by Velázquez, which has this mirroring effect, and I talked about that. And then we got a further assignment, and they were like, take the object thing and turn it into a 2-minute dance piece over like the next day or 2 days or something like that.
God.
So I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna make this object into a dance? And so that's sort of how I came to this mirroring thing. My friend was spending the night, so that's how we first made it. And I first made it on my iPhone. That was like part of the requirement.
Wow. And
made like a 2-minute version, and then my friend saw it and he was like, this is great, we should use my real camera and make this into like an actual film. And I was like, great. So then it was sort of daunting to try to recreate this like serendipitous, magical objects moving around painting thing, but we did. And
well, I mean, as I was telling you before, it's just an amazing film because basically you're doing a portrait or you're drawing your friend, but she's also kind of doing a fashion show, but it's also kind of stop motion, so it's an animation, and yet it's also choreographed to the music, so it's a dance piece. And then every time I keep on looking at this film, it's a 5-minute film, but there's so much in it. You can watch it over and over and see stuff you didn't see the first time. But I guess it is about seeing, right, ultimately?
I think it's about seeing as much as it's about pretending to see and not really seeing something, because this painting that comes forward in the end, which actually was not part of the original 2-minute version, I just had pretended to paint, but I was like, I'm going all out this time. I don't know how to paint. I'm going to paint something, and it's sort of about pretending to see and the product that you end up with being so clear that you weren't seeing, which could also be said of listening, right? You think that you're responding to something, but really you're just putting out a reflection of yourself. And I think, you know, there might be a certain extent to which everything is a reflection of ourselves that we ever say, which is all well and good, but I think that is fundamentally different than pretending that you're representing something completely external to yourself.
But how much of it was pre-planned?
Well, the first time we did it,
I mean, there had to be planning involved. I mean, the changing of the clothes and the positioning of the canvas so you don't see her as she's disrobing.
The camera placement was hard, especially on the iPhone version, but that was something that was set in advance. Sort of like the general space of the room was set. And I have like, I'm a big collector, and so I had a bunch of just stuff on the table outside of frame, and I was like, let's just see what happens. And then so a lot of it was actually the other dancer, Luisa, who's one of my dear friends, kind of just like grabbing a prop and doing something with it. And I think it's interesting that you think it looks choreographed, because in a certain sense, there's a score. We kind of knew the rough order, especially
Right.
since we had done it once before. But it wasn't choreographed. None of the dance itself was choreographed. And I think that maybe it looks choreographed because I made it match the music in like highly intentional and really on the nose ways.
So the beats that come in, you knew where the music was and where to cut at a specific time.
Yeah, the musicality was all in the cutting.
But I think when you place the canvas I mean, the film is also kind of a striptease at times.
Yeah.
And you cover up Louisa at the appropriate times, but then there's a moment when you...
Yeah, it's dropped. And in the original version, she wasn't covered up at all. We just didn't think of it, and I didn't know if I was going to, because I'm just cutting images. I could have just skipped the changing parts, but yeah, I guess I did find it sort of compelling, these in-between moments that are punctuated on either side by like these different looks or different energies.
And in Las Meninas, I mean, the viewer is the king, right, in that painting.
Yeah, the royalty, it's like the king
royalty.
and the queen.
And then here we are also, in a sense, in the position where Louisa is. So we are the ones that are the stars of this film just as much.
Or that the audience maybe this could be reflective, though, of the way that the audience is always trying to find identification with any subject, any audience.
This was done relatively quickly.
Honestly, the editing dragged out a long time.
Yeah, the editing process for sure took the longest time, but the actual shoot.
It was like, I mean, I guess with prep
30
work and
hours or
stuff,
something?
no, way shorter than that. I think with prep work and stuff, it was maybe 6 hours, but we just had the camera on for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we just did all of that.
And you just shot it straight, and then
Yeah.
you would chop it up later on.
The chopping up took a really long time, though, and there's weird projections.
Right.
That I edited part of it. I kind of co-edit with my friend Brian Curry, who did our film last year as well, and I do the sort of like musicality and like things that feel like dance editing, and then he comes in and does like all sorts of stuff that takes forever that I didn't even anticipate. Like, for example, there's a projection of a kaleidoscope that pops up. I don't even know how long that took him, but long.
And he kind of matted it into some of the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that a lot of the objects come and go on the walls around, and that was premeditated?
Like in between. It was I would say it was intentional, but not premeditated. So I think there's a sense in which the entire film is improvisatory, but it's not random at all.
It just doesn't feel like that at all.
Well, I'm not mad about that, because
I mean, that's awesome.
as a viewer, I generally prefer things that feel like super intentional, which maybe is why the editing, was reflected that way in the
It was meant to be.
I hope so.
Well, folks, you absolutely have to come and check out this film, and you can get to meet Charly at the screening. She's going to be there. It's our opening night. It's on Friday, January 28th, as part of the 40th anniversary celebration of the New Jersey Film Festival. It'll be taking place again from January 28th to February 20th, and you can get complete information by going to our website, which is njfilmfest.com. When you get there, click on where it says current events, and then there'll be a red button that'll tell you where you can get tickets and things like that. Click on it because it'll send you to our big Eventive website that'll have descriptions of all the films, pictures, how to buy tickets, and various other things. So hope you can join us for the screenings and come and meet Charly. She's really wonderful, and her film is really amazing. And I also wanted to tell you about the movies that we're going to be screening on that evening. And it's actually an experimental film program. That's what it's all about. We're showing a series of experimental films as well as some animation thrown in. And again, on Friday, January 28th, we'll be showing this wonderful film called Battle by a filmmaker from Turkey. Caprice ×2 is by a filmmaker from Austria. And then we have Mise, abyme by Charly. Then we have Potero by Lindsay Martin. She's a filmmaking professor at the University of Ohio. Flux is by a very talented painter who's now dabbling in film. She's from Ireland. She's hoping to come too, so maybe she will be there. Clea, she's really wonderful. And Home in the Air is by a filmmaker from Spain. So come and join us again, New Jersey Film Festival, njfilmfest.com, and hope you'll come and check out some of these great movies. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Charly.
Thank you.
Thank you.